Hi there, welcome to Save with Crypto. My name is Save with Crypto, and as quite a lot of you may know already, I've been talking about Tap Global, and its token XTP. I've been talking about that since 2023, so pretty much 2 or 3 years now. And what I did was I bought a load of it, and the price went up a lot. I didn't sell it, and then I hung on to it, and now it's gone down massively, and it's worth a lot less than I paid for it. Yeah, I wasn't very wise back in 2023. I should have just taken the money when it was, a lot, and it was a lot. It was like, the price of well, I suppose the price of like half a house at the time, just momentarily. I don't know how easy that would have been to sell at that point, but I certainly wish I'd considered it rather than thinking that the price was going to go up and up. Anyway, consequently, I'm stuck with a bag of XTP. What I did back in June was I staked my XTP, so I got one of the premium tiers with the card. Now, the way this works is you can get the XTP token, you can lock it up for, I think it's 12 months. And by doing that, it unlocks these different tiers of the card. Now, there was a bit earlier in the year when the price of XTP was fairly high, and momentarily it did go over £10,000. So I did get the platinum tier. It's come down a lot since, so my amount of XTP is worth nothing like $10,000, but it does mean that I keep that platinum tier. So obviously what I'm looking for is a little blip up to a higher price. At that point I will, go for the prestige thing. That said, I don't really use the card, even though I get 6% cash back. So why don't I use it? I don't use it because I can't load the card in GBP, in British pounds. I can load it in euros, and if I spend euros, I get 6% cash back. When I say cash, you actually get XTP, but it's locked for 1 year. And to be honest, with XTP, it isn't one of those cryptos where we think it's definitely going to go up forever. It's come down so much that it could easily go down a lot more. So I don't know if that 6% is going to be worth anything in 12 months' time. Consequently, all I've done with it is if I've earned some money in euros, so say, for example, I've done some work for one of my European clients and they paid me in euros, I've put that euros onto the card, and then when I went on holiday to Spain in the summer, I used the card and I used it to like hire a car and pay for an Airbnb, in the knowledge that next August I should get some XTP that is unlocked. But for me, living in the UK at the moment, that isn't much use. By the time I've got my GBP, converted it to euros, put it on the card, done some shopping where it gets converted from euros back to pounds again, with the foreign exchange fees, that pretty much wipes out the 6%. And for that reason, I'd rather just use my crypto.com card, where I know I'm getting 4% cash back in CRO that is liquid straight away, and I can just swap that to whatever I want to, whether that be Bitcoin, GBP, or anything else. And of course, one of the problems I have with XTP is that it's not on any decent exchanges, so you can't even look at it in TradingView. The only exchange it's on is one called ProBit that TradingView doesn't even recognise. And I have tried to use this, and it's pretty awful, to be honest. But at the moment, it's the only place where you can really see a chart of XTP. And what a chart it is. That really does look like the chart of a dead project. I suppose if we look at it on the 4-hourly chart, it's not completely dead, but it's certainly not very well, is it? So obviously we have a lot of questions to ask to the TAP group. So we do have some resources for this. There is this TAP official group on Telegram. To be honest, you have to be really careful about what you say here. I think they've got like an AI bot that will ban you if you mention a competitor or if you say anything negative. I've obviously been banned from this. I actually got banned from this group, and I'm really not sure what I did at all. As far as I'm aware, I didn't mention any competitors. I didn't speak negative. In fact, I think I was actually being complimentary, but I got banned. I did get unbanned, but I didn't get an apology or anything like that. But the main people here seem to be Stellina and King Elvis, although Arson, the CEO, seems to be in the group. Now, me personally, I've not seen Arson post anything for well over a year, so I don't think he's particularly active in the group. There's also this one here called Tap Community. That is an unofficial tap group. This is usually where all the people go that have been banned from the main tap group, because you can talk about things without getting banned immediately. Now, in this group, I've been speaking to a guy called Roman, who has told me that he is what he describes as being close to Arson. So I don't know if he's actually employed by Tap or if he's just like Arson's friend or whatever, but he seems to know a lot more about Tap than most of us. So I am rather delighted that on Wednesday this week, I'm going to have a discussion with Roman. We're going to record it. I'm going to ask questions and hopefully get some good answers. The obvious questions I'm going to ask is things like, when is XTP going to get listed on a decent exchange? What is happening with XTP in the US? Are there still plans to roll out into Latin America and the rest of the world? What is happening with GBP card loading for people in the UK? Is there any sort of current roadmap for XTP or Tap Global? We're going to talk about the share price as well, which I think will include the earnings report that's coming up in December. But beyond that, if you've got any questions you'd like me to ask to Roman, please do leave them in the comments down below, and then we can get a good list together for Wednesday, and then I'll record that. It'll probably take me about a day or so to edit it, and then hopefully Thursday or Friday I can release that as a video, and we'll have some good answers and be able to come up with some sort of strategy about how we're going to use Tap Global, if it's a good idea to buy some XTP tokens, and if it's a good idea to buy some Tap shares. Now, we're also going to do a screen share, and Roman is going to show us how to use ByBit to buy XTP at the best price, because at the moment, if you try and buy it on the app, there's like massive slippage, and I think what it does, it actually uses ByBit anyway, and it just does a market order. So basically you just end up buying up the entire order book. So I'm kind of guessing his technique will be using limit orders to buy these up in small amounts, but he'll show us that anyway, so that'll be good. I must admit, at the moment, I don't have much of an urge to buy any more XTP. I've probably got far too much already. I mean, personally, I do have quite a problem with the people who run the Tap X account. I've had problems before where they've, handled things very immaturely, to be honest. I kind of get the impression that the Tap X account is run by some young people with not a lot of experience. So that's also another concern as well that maybe we can talk about on Wednesday. So yeah, I certainly have a lot of questions to ask myself. I mean, overall, my impression is this could be a great product, but at the moment it isn't, and it isn't something that I'm going to use because it's not really available like I want it to be, which is a shame because I am really into these kind of fintech type products. But with anything like this, there's always like massive delays for getting anything done, and they just blame other people. They say, oh, we're waiting for the KYC, or we're having problems with legislation, or we're waiting for the lawyers to come back with whatever, So I appreciate this kind of product isn't easy to do, especially when you're, mixing crypto with traditional finance and you're dealing with anti-crypto countries like the UK. Nevertheless, I think it's going to be an interesting discussion. So let's look forward to doing that. I will, of course, let you know how it went on Wednesday. And the best way to know about that is to be subscribed to the channel. So please do make sure you go down below and do that. Remember, any questions you'd like me to ask to Roman on Wednesday, leave them in the comments down below. While you're down there, please give the video a great big fat like. Do make sure you are subscribed and you got the notifications turned on. And above all, tell your friends.